Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I have a very special guest joining me, and her name is Dani Watson. And she has this amazing YouTube channel called Awake and Bake. It's all to do with gardening and spirituality, which is like literally everything that I'm about. So we align in a lot of ways. So thank you for being here, Dani.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm like more than excited. Like my nipples are hard.
Oh my God. So for those of you who obviously weren't here before, we recorded this once before and it didn't work. So this is our second time recording, but that's okay because we have fun talking anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it kind of worked out so that we could just like spend more time together.
Yeah, I think I did it on purpose. I subconsciously hexed the system. It's fine.
Yeah. You literally were like, maybe we'll have to do it again.
I know. And I don't know why I said it. I just had a feeling. I was like, yeah, like if we have to do it again or something.
Oh my gosh. That's okay.
I
Well,
wanted a second chance. I was like, redemption.
that's hilarious. Well, I'm glad that you were still like free and we could still like do it.
I was sitting in the exact same spot.
Okay, good. Amazing. I literally like, I had my hair up in a clip and I like put my glasses on and I was like, So we're going to be talking about the intersection of like autism and gardening and how we've both kind of like meshed the two together. We're both autistic. We were both diagnosed at 26, which is really wild.
Crazy.
Weird, like beginning of Saturn return shit. Dani, let's talk about your autism diagnosis journey. How did that come to be?
Yeah, so the short story is that after like a series of so many just like years of struggling, and then I went to Mexico when I was 26 with my husband. It was my first time leaving the country and we didn't go far. We just went to Mexico. And it was like the worst experience of my life, not because of Mexico, but because I was not diagnosed as autistic. So I didn't have the like I wasn't able to prepare. I wasn't able to like have anything in place of like what works for me because I didn't know I needed those extra accommodations. And so between the heat, I have extreme sensory issues, and heat is one of my main sensitivities. It always has been. I cannot handle heat. And I went in the fucking hottest month because I didn't know about Mexico like that. So I went
What's
during
the
like
hottest month?
like the beginning of the year.
Okay. I'm supposed to go in November.
That'll be good. So it said like October, November, December is like good to go.
Okay.
But we went in like February, March. It was like so hot I couldn't handle it. So between like the rashes I was getting, between the sensory overload, because like everything is just different there. Like driving on the road, I don't travel well on the car, on the plane, whatever. And it was really bad. I ended up getting extremely sick while I was there. Not even the normal like, oh, you drank the water and it upset your tummy. Like not even that. Like I had just gotten so ill from my sensory issues and dehydrated that when I got back to the States, I had to go to the hospital because I'd given myself lithium poisoning because I take lithium for my bipolar. Never had lithium poisoning until that situation. It was just really bad sensory overload. I felt like a failure. I felt like I have never traveled worse. I felt like I've never had a worse time somewhere. I felt like I ruined my husband's whole experience and he was so excited. He planned this whole trip for us. And I was like really mad at myself. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Why am I so high maintenance? I started complaining about it to my whole care team, my primary care, my psychiatrist, and my therapist. My therapist was like, I've been working with you for a while now. Do you think there's a possibility that you could be autistic? My dog thinks there's a possibility I could be autistic.
Yeah.
So she was coming from like just a place of like experience, not like a place of like judgment or anything. She was like, yeah, maybe just bring it up to your psychiatrist. I brought it up to my psychiatrist. They were under the impression that I already knew I was autistic. So they were like, oh, I thought we just knew. So yeah, let's get you diagnosed if you would like that. They honestly told me I didn't need a diagnosis. They were like, I mean, I thought you were. I thought you knew you were. You could just get some books and kind of read about it yourself and determine it. But if you want, here's some places near you that will test you. So yeah, my primary care physician made me feel like crap. She said there was no way I could be autistic because I was good at eye contact. So, which is crazy because I'm good at eye contact if it's not like we're over a screen, so it's a lot easier. But if I'm the one talking, I'm not good at eye contact. But if she's talking, I can look at her. So I guess like, to her, that means it's fine. I don't know. But basically, I was just really, I was mad at myself from how high maintenance I felt. But I felt like I wasn't doing it on purpose. My body's very like high maintenance. And then I got tested, and like it happened fast, like because I went through I think it was like a private place. It wasn't like through like a system, you know what I mean? It was just like I emailed this place. It sounds like it has an official doctor's name. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it was very much like a sounded like a hospital.
Yeah.
But it was just this one like private practice, I guess. We did it within like 2 or 3 weeks. It happened so fast. I emailed, I heard back the very next day. We set it up that week. And then it took like a week and a half for me to like find out like after the evaluation. But by that point, I didn't read my little books.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I am so autistic. Oh my
Yep.
God.
Yep.
Oh my God. So yeah, that's how that like came about. But I've always known, not that I was autistic, but I've always been like, I think something is like off with me and no one like seems to notice, but I'm begging for someone to notice.
Yep. I relate to that.
Yeah. Because I feel, do
Wow.
you ever feel like you have to work like 1,000 times harder than everyone else, just, and it's like you do a great job so no one notices because you perform well in like daily life, but then at the end of the day you're like, no one is as mentally, physically, and emotionally as exhausted as I am from this. And that actually, like, that used to bring me a lot of anger and like self-hate.
Yeah.
Because I was like, my dad always, like, growing up, my dad is like my biggest bully, and he would like call me stupid and say I wasn't smart and I couldn't understand things. And so like getting older and like having my autism not be diagnosed, or I'm not even being aware of it yet, I literally felt stupid because I was like, even though I do a good job at work, I do a good job at any project I put my mind to, no one is seeing that it like kills me. Like the process is so draining and exhausting.
Yeah, just like life is so tiring. Like, especially since I got diagnosed, I feel like I'm having that skill regression. Like,
Yes.
I just like, it takes so much more energy for me to do things and like to keep up with like housework, content, auditions, being a good partner, being a good friend. Like, I feel like everything's compiled onto me all at once. And I'm like in a burnout cycle right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm struggling with that currently.
I mean, like that's so real. I honestly like, I feel like I am constantly battling between, do I live life and like do experiences that are fun,
Mhm.
or do I like rest because like I'm sorry, I like I can't
Yeah,
do as much as other people, and it makes me sound like so lazy almost. I used to feel embarrassed to say because I was like, well, obviously nobody wants to work 40 hours a week, but I shouldn't want to end my life at the end of every single shift.
yeah,
Like, and
that's
it's
a
not
lot.
because I don't like my job. I work in the gardening industry, and I used to work, now I just work from home for a few companies, but I used to work in a dispensary and I loved it. I loved learning about all the products. I loved connecting and networking with all the different companies that would come in, and there was not one part of that experience that I didn't like. But at the end of every day, I was so angry and depressed and like burnt out. But that whole time I had thought, oh, I just have severe depression. Oh,
Right.
and it's like, no, baby, you're burnt out.
Yeah, like burnout and depression can kind of like look the same. Cause like I've had bouts of depression, but now
Yeah.
looking back, I'm like, oh, it was 100% burnout. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like after filming Lost and Found, the TV series I was in when I was 16, I had
Woo-hoo.
like almost like a year of just being so depressed, like feeling just so low and depressed. And I think like part of it was probably being burnt out because that's a lot of like energy to be a lead on a TV series and
Yeah.
be autistic and
Oh,
like,
baddie, though. You did that.
thank you.
Yeah. My high masking queen.
Yes.
Come on.
Even though it's like sometimes to my detriment, like
Yeah.
did you figure out kind of like a schedule or a routine that works for you that like helps you stay out of burnout?
I have. Um, it's I'm very grateful for this. It's a very privileged position that I'm able to be in. But my husband makes enough that I don't have to work. I was raised with no money. So like not only was I like working at a young age, I was working and then giving that money to my parents because we needed money
Yeah,
for the house, we needed money for groceries, we needed money for bills.
real.
And so like I absolutely recognize like how privileged this is, and I will always be so grateful. But after a certain amount of time like working at the dispensary and just like my mental health being so absolutely horrible, my husband said, you know, you don't have to like do this, right? I think we can swing it where I can like work and pay for everything if you want to stay home and like take care of stuff around here, or just take care of yourself. His main goal was, I like you when you're happy and you're not like doing well right now.
Mhm.
And that even actually, but that took a while to adjust because then I felt so much guilt that
Yeah.
like that he was paying for everything and that but it's like he's my husband. So it's like it's our money and I understand that I have to just work through that like whole whatever. But it took a long time to work through that because I felt like maybe he has resentment toward me because I'm not doing any like not doing anything, but it felt like that. And
Yeah.
it wasn't until I was like, I had to literally like tell myself, I'm really good at like reprogramming my brain and just being like, this is what you have to do. And so like I literally told myself, okay, you were depressed working, so he's giving you the opportunity to not have to work for someone else. You can rest as much as you need. If I need to sleep all day for a week, he's not going to be mad at me. So there were times where I actually did need to do that. And I just had to tell myself, if I'm going to not take advantage of this situation and like utilize it and actually try to like be my best self and heal and get better, then like, what's the point of me being depressed and like worried that he's mad at me because he's giving me you know what I mean? I had, the guilt was
Yeah.
too much and I had to work through it. Once
Yeah.
I worked through it, I was like, oh, okay. So when I'm my happiest self and my healthiest self, everything just is easier. I'm able to be a better partner. I'm able to help more around the house. I'm able to do other jobs and stuff. Like it took some time, but I think rest is the most important thing. Like time off, saying no, not doing anything, and honestly, solitude. I had to learn when to like calm down and say no. But yes, basically, time off to rest is my biggest. I know it's hard to do,
Yeah.
especially if you're not in my position. That's why I was like, this is a privilege take, but that's really what helps me the most is like rest.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's hard being like a self-employed person because you're like you never want to be like deemed as lazy, right? Or at least I don't. And like I've always been like a workaholic and like my mom raised me that way cuz like that's how we get shit done or whatever. And so yeah, like resting is just not it's so not comfortable for me and like sometimes I feel like more depressed when I rest because I'm like, oh, I'm not being productive. But it's probably the more you practice the rest, the more
Yes.
you're like, oh no, like this is where it is. This is where it's at. Like this is what we got to do.
Gardening helps with that too.
Yes, let's talk about gardening. So, how has gardening helped you on your like autism acceptance journey and also just like on your healing journey in general?
I actually wrote notes about how it has helped me on my autism acceptance journey.
A period.
Okay, well, more than anything, I don't even need the notes for this. More than anything, it helps me calm the fuck down
Yeah.
because part of being autistic, a lot of people get it confused, in my opinion. I don't speak for everyone with autism and I don't want to, but I find that a lot of people who are autistic, we're just told, no, you're not autistic, you just have anxiety. When it's like, no, 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 no. We have anxiety because of the autism, because of
Yeah.
what we are experiencing. It is, yes, it is causing anxiety, but that is not the issue. The
Yeah.
issue is not the anxiety. The anxiety is like a byproduct of the autism being like something that we have to deal with in this world that doesn't accept people like that. And when I say doesn't accept, people are going to look at me and be like, you're high masking. What do you mean? But I mean, in terms of like, we are masking all the time. Like when you talk about burnout, people think burnout is more, oh, it's from working a lot. It's from like exhausting yourself. It's from just existing and
It's
pretending to be something you're not. So
for real.
with gardening, I don't know if it's sometimes I don't know if I'm either letting my guard down or if it just makes me like really like confident. And so I don't even care if I'm
Yeah.
like doing my little like stims and stuff in front of people.
Yeah.
But either way, it allows me to like chill out. It allows me to like get through my day with so much more ease. Also, transitions are very hard for me. And I didn't know that for a long time because I didn't really understand what that meant when someone said they struggled with transitions. I was like, I don't even know what that means. But my husband has pointed out since we've been together, so we've been together like almost 8 years, and he has always said, when we have something to do, if we have to switch tasks, it takes me like an hour to switch a task because I'm just like, oh, well, one more thing, or hold on, I'm going to do this, or then I just don't move or something. And he's always like, but if I have like gardening supplies available,
Mhm.
in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to garden and that's going to set me up to be able to be in a good mood to do this next thing or to help like fuel me for this next thing. It's
Mhm.
almost like it helps me with the transitions, like obviously because the gardening process, what it does psychoactively makes things easier, but also just knowing like I have this tool that I can use because it's a tool, it's a medicine. It's not,
It
I don't
is.
think of it as something negative or as like a drug. So I use it as a tool. So like when I
Yeah.
need to do transitions, I'm like, okay, cool, what kind of strain do I need? What kind of method do I need? Do I want to do an edible? Do I want to hit the bong? Do I want to do sativa, hybrid, indica? Like none of the above. Don't want to do THCV, CBG. Like I love utilizing it as a tool to help kind of motivate me and feel more comfortable to be able to do stuff. That's probably my main thing.
I like that. Me too. It helps me with transitioning too. And I think like mainly I've been using it to transition into rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at night in the evening, it really, really helps with that. Or else like I will literally not know when to stop. Like I'm a crazy person, like with work. I'm like, oh, but I could be answering this email, I could be making a TikTok, I could be like my brain is so chaotic. And so like, yeah, it helps me definitely in the evening, but I'm definitely also open to exploring like how it could help me during the day when I do my tasks so that I can actually like stay on task and like not have it be so stressful and like the demand, like having that demand avoidance of like, oh, like I have to do this thing. How am I going to be able to do this without feeling like it's a demand? So I wonder if it like also helps with that.
It really helps with that. It makes everything like, oh wait, I'm just doing it. Like I always say fried. Like once I've like gardened a lot, I'm like, oh, I'm fried. And so like it's way more fun, even if I have to like grocery shop and I'm scared to like not scared, but it's like, oh, I'm gonna have to be around so many people. And I'm a sensory issue person. Like that's one of my main issues. Yep. And so like I hate going to the grocery store because it goes back and forth between like freezing cold and then like the normal temperature, and then you're really, really cold, and then you step outside and then you're in the heat. And like I hate it. It's also why I shower regularly, I promise, but I hate taking showers because I hate my hair being wet and the wet touching me, and I don't I can't do wet. And like I find like what you were just saying, like it makes the experience also more enjoyable because I'm like, is it more fun to do grocery shopping fried? And just I make it like a whole like setting. Have you heard of sequencing?
No.
So sequencing is something I learned about in spirituality a few years ago, and it's basically where like before you do, it's to help you manifest. And so it's like, okay, before any task you have to do, you basically reset your intention so that even if you're having a bad day, or even if you were cooking and then you got some like bad news and now you got to go to a doctor's appointment, on the way to the doctor's appointment, you sequence it by being like, okay, so now for this part of my day, I'm going to be in this kind of mood and it's going to help me like get this result. So I'd use it for that kind of thing as well, where it's like if I'm panicked that I have to like go to the grocery store and I'm nervous about the temperature thing, I'll put on something comfy and cozy. I'll get fried. My version of fried. For a lot of autistic people, we don't really get intoxicated from it. It's more just like I said, a medicine. It's very beneficial. Yeah. I like it for those situations.
Yeah, I find that I don't always get super like I don't feel super like whoa, like when I smoke, I'm not like whoa. Like I kind of just feel more like myself. So I feel like it's helped me in that way in terms of my like autism journey, and that like it's helped me actually like get to know who I am behind all of like the like sometimes I'm just when I'm sober, I'm just feeling a little bit numb. Like I actually find that like gardening helps me to open up my emotions and like feel how I need to feel in the moment. Does it help you with that too?
It does help me with that, especially so I am bipolar, and sometimes when I'm not an expert on bipolar, I can only speak for myself, but if I am having a hard time with my emotions, if I'm having a bit of an episode, it actually is huge for me because I will spiral and like kind of create a situation that is not real. So like something as simple as, oh, my husband, he seemed a little grumpy. If I'm having an episode, him seeming grumpy in my head literally turns into like, oh, he hates me and he's actually probably cheating on me. And like now I have all this proof that like doesn't really exist. And it'll be like, oh, this little thing I saw here and this little thing I saw here must mean this. Like this is a very extreme example, but it's pretty like accurate to what I experience.
Yeah.
And it's in those situations where I will literally know, I will genuinely feel like I've never experienced happiness before. I can't remember a time I was calm. I know like this feeling I have right now is probably wrong or probably like not completely accurate to what's happening, but I can't ever remember a time I felt okay. It's not like it doesn't exist. But if I use a little bit of gardening stuff, it genuinely helps bring that heightened level of I'll be charged. Like I will be full of rage. That's one of my main things is I get like really rageful with my bipolar.
Yeah.
And it really will bring me down to a place where I'm so much less angry that I can actually think, okay, even though I can't remember that I used to be happy once, I can remember that I do not live in this anger. This is like, it'll start to fade. And that's really helpful for me.
Mm,
And just also with like autism and feeling my feelings, I sometimes have a really hard time putting words to what I'm feeling.
yeah.
I have like I'll know exactly how it feels, but trying to explain it,
Yep.
it's like I can't do it. So then once I've gardened a little bit, it's like, okay, so now that I've had time to sit and think, this is what I was feeling.
Yeah, no, that's so good. Like it's such a medicine and I feel like we're both like really passionate about spreading the positive energy around gardening.
Mm-hmm.
We can't say it on fucking YouTube, but you
I
know.
know when everyone gets so mad and they're like, grow up, just say it properly. Like, or if you say like other words that you have to censor, and I'm like, it's not me. This video won't be seen by anyone if I don't
Yeah.
censor myself.
You won't be even seeing this video if we don't censor it. But if
So
you know, you know.
yeah.
But it is, yeah, it's such a medicine and it kick-started my healing journey. Like I've talked about it on my podcast and my YouTube channel, how like when I started gardening regularly, like I was able to just like gain a larger perspective on my life and like my life path and my goals and like where I'm headed and where I'm at now and like all the things that seemed like a really big deal in my life kind of just were put into perspective. And I was able to see things like, okay, like this doesn't have to derail my day. It's a thing
Yeah.
that happened. Or whatever it is, like, oh, I didn't book this role. Okay, but what if, looking at the larger perspective, like what if I'm gonna get an even better one like later down the road? Or
Exactly.
yeah, like it's just, yeah, it's helped in like so many ways.
I also think that's because I don't know if a lot of people know about this. It's not talked about a lot, especially in the medical industry. But gardening, the plant, the C word, we'll just call it CANNABIS. So the C word is meant to pair with our human body. So
Right.
our whole body is full of, it's called the endocannabinoid system. And
Yes.
you have all these receptors from head to toe that are made to pair with the plant. So that also helps me a lot too with like that whole feeling guilty, because shame does come with it just because of society. And so you're like, oh my God, like, am I a pothead? Am I whatever? Am I lazy? And it's like, no, bitch, it's medicine. Your body is meant to pair with this. We don't have receptors meant to pair with apples, mayonnaise, butterflies. Like, you know what I mean?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. We have receptors meant to pair with this plant. So no one's ever going to convince me that I'm doing something wrong by utilizing this natural form of medicine that my body is literally designed to use and like work with.
Yeah, yeah. Every time like I feel shame about it, which it's it's normal. Like I feel like we were all like all grew up with like anti gardening commercials or like,
Yep.
like do you remember those?
The one with the guys in the couch, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, dude.
Like we were all like fed this like anti-gardening propaganda from a young age. So it makes sense that we're gonna have shame or we're gonna have hesitancy or anxiety around it. But then when you actually strip those things away and you see it for what it is, you're like, why aren't people like talking about this more? Like, what the heck?
It's literally so healing, and it's so one. A lot of it just has to do with like money and racism. That's a huge part of it.
Mm,
And I do also want to like throw in there, if anybody uses the M word, marijuana, let's stop doing that. It's
yeah.
not the correct term for the C word. It was just made, I believe, in the 1800s by like white people to make it sound like Mexicans were bringing this crazy drug over to try to hurt us and make us go insane. And it's like, no, it actually, the word doesn't even translate to the C word plant. So if
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. It's like a very like racist term.
Extremely.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that part is racist. They black men specifically are in prison and arrested at 5 times the rate of anyone else but the usage of the plant is the exact same.
Yeah,
So that's crazy.
it's fucked.
But we're
Mm-hmm.
here to destigmatize it.
But that's why we're here.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm so glad to like talk to you about this because like not everyone like gets it. Like I feel like if like someone gardens, I'm like, "Oh, this is someone I can like connect to. Like they get it. I get it. It's a good vibe." And it's a lot more like normalized in Canada. I think we were talking in your half of the video about this. Like it's just more It's been legalized longer here. It's more normalized, but we still have to do the work in normalizing it in like other places and
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add? Because I feel like we've gotten a lot of good info in.
I feel like we covered a lot of really good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did
Yeah,
too.
I think we killed it.
Yeah, we did. Second time the charm.
Second time's the charm.
Second time's a charm. Yep. If you want to follow Dani and see her content, all of the links will be in the description. Check out Awake and Bake on YouTube. It's a fun time. And she's been really like slaying and consistent on there with her episodes. So proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, go check out her channel. It's a fun time. Go watch our video on Dani's channel because we made another one.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. And we talked more about gardening and autism. So if you're into that, go check it out. Okay, thank you for me having you. Thank you for thank you for being, my like words are not wording anymore.
For having you.
Thank you for having me. Yes,
thank you for having me. Seriously, this was so much fun.
Yes, and thank you for coming back on and re-recording.
Anything for you. We can, if we do it again, I'm here.
Yeah, we'll do it again, I'm sure.
Okay, cool.
We'll do more of these. Yeah. Okay, bye guys. See you in my next video.